What's up, everybody? Anton Crayley here from dropshiplifestyle.com, coming to you on a gorgeous Thursday afternoon here in New York City. Let me actually see if you could see this. It's just like, it's really nice outside. It's actually out at the park for most of the morning, hanging out down there. But yeah, I'm back up in the apartment now, getting some work done. And being it's Thursday, I wanted to get you this week's episode of Dropship Weekly. So the topic that I decided to make a video on is all about Google Ads. Well, it's still Google AdWords. I think they're changing the name officially like in a week or something. But Google Ads for e-commerce, and more specifically, how to set your budget when you're brand new, right? You're starting off, you want to invest into advertising because why wouldn't you if you could spend money and make more back? I mean, it's like the biggest win ever. But again, a lot of people don't know how to set budgets. And inside of Dropship Lifestyle, like, I don't even know which screen, this one over here, inside of our community and in our Facebook group or on our forum, like all over the place, right? Members ask all the time, like, Anton, how should I set my budget if I'm just getting started? So that's what I'm gonna answer in this video. It'll be a quick one, but it should definitely help you get this right if you're brand new to e-commerce. So I'm gonna jump into this computer. And by the way, whenever anyone asks like which computer I use to do the whiteboard style videos, it's this thing. It's a Surface Studio, and it's grossly overpriced. I think it was like $4,300, but it's fun to use, but it's not powerful enough at all for that price. But anyway, I'm gonna jump in there. Let's get into this video, and I'm gonna show you how to set your Google Ads budget if you're brand new to e-commerce. All right, everybody, welcome inside of my computer. So the biggest question that comes up in my inbox when people are asking me about, different ad budgets and what they should start with is there a minimum, right? Like, what can they get away with as far as low end? And the reason people want to know is because, maybe they're brand new to e-commerce. They've never run ads before, so they're afraid to, invest their money to something they don't know if it's going to work. Another one could be because maybe they don't have that much money, right? And the goal with your ad spend should always be to get the best return on ad spend. Okay, that's what you always want, whether you have $1 million in the bank or you have $10 in the bank. And the truth is, when it comes down to minimum, is there really is none. So I'm just going to put there is no minimum to start with. But what you need to realize when you're running paid traffic and you're first starting out, right? When you're brand new, when you set up your first ever Google shopping campaign, you have to know that the goal, right? It's not just to make sales. The goal is to do market research, and where your ad dollars are really going is they're buying data. So you could do things before you start your first ad campaign, like use the Google Keyword Planner and, look around at your competitors and whatnot, or your future competitors. But what you have to realize is that the numbers that Google might show you, they're not as accurate as what you're going to get until you set up your own ads, and until people start actually seeing them in Google search results, and until people start clicking them, and until you know what your conversion rate is. The best data you're going to get is when you turn your ads on. So again, when you first start a campaign, just know that the goal is to get data so you see what's working and what's not, and then you can use that information to cut what's not working, and then basically to double down or quadruple down on what is working. So let me show you kind of where we start in our businesses now with new stores and why, okay? Let's just say that you had a product, or you had a website, I should say, that gets a 1% conversion rate, right? So you build your store and it's currently converting at 1% from PLAs, from Google traffic, Google Shopping traffic. Now, if it converts at 1%, that means for every 100 visitors that come, right, 100 visitors, you get one sale, right? Because 100 and 1% is one sale. So 100 visitors equals, no dollar sign there, equals one sale. Now, again, for the sake of keeping numbers simple here, let's just say that you set up your first campaign on Google and it's costing you $1 per click, okay? Lots of ones here. So your $1 CPC. Now, what that means is for every 100 clicks you get, you're going to get a sale, right? Because you're converting at 1%. And that means you're going to spend $100 on ads to get that first sale. Does that make sense? Because you have a $100 ad budget, right? $100 ad budget. That gets you 100 clicks. Your store is converting at 1%. So you get one sale that costs you $100. Now, hopefully you're following the dropship lifestyle system and that sale just got you, $1,000 order plus, but just know that this is kind of what you have to think about when you're trying to determine your budget. Because let's just say that, we use these numbers for this example, right? We stick in this space here. And let's say you say, okay, my budget is going to be $100 per day. And that is aggressive. We don't even do that in our businesses when we're launching new stores, when we're starting. But let's just say you said your budget was going to be $100 per day. Well, that would mean you would have data, right? You would have a sale within one day if you had this 1% conversion rate. Let's just say you said and I'll do some different examples down here and I'll write them out for you to kind of make this easy. And I'll do here budgets. Okay. So if your budget was 100 per day, that would equal one sale per day. And also enough data to let you know, what that product is. Now, let's say your budget was $10 a day, right? Because you were just getting started and you were like, you know what? I feel comfortable with a $10 a day budget. Well, that would mean you would get one sale every 10 days. Okay, so one sale per 10 days. Now, let's say you were, again, just starting out and you were super nervous because you're so brand new to this and you're like, I really don't want to put any money into this until I know it works. Well, okay, then maybe you even drop it down and you say my budget is $5 a day. And remember, there are no, there's no set thing in Google where you have to pay them X amount of dollars. So if you just went in there and set it at $5 a day, you could do that. But if your store converted at 1% and you had a $5 a day budget, that means you can expect to have one sale every 20 days. So it could, in theory here, take you 20 days to get your first sale with that $5 a day budget. Now, what does that mean, right? Does that mean you should wait 20 days to see what happens, to see what's selling? No, in my opinion, you shouldn't, because we can make this a lot easier, which I'm about to show you how to do. But again, if you have this mindset of I'm just going to spend $5 a day, and let's say even 10 days go by, 15 days go by, and no sales come in yet, well, if your store converts at 1%, then that's normal. That's not like a weird thing, right? Because again, it's taking you more time. Now, here's what we do and what I'd recommend, right? Brand new store, I'd want to see you set a budget. Let me change this up here. I'm going to say first month's budget. I'd want you to set that at $1,000, okay? So it might sound like a lot of money, I should say, but stick with me here and you'll see why it's not, okay? So $1,000 a day, $1,000 per month comes out to spending about $33 a day, okay? And again, if you're getting clicks for $1, then within every day, you'll have 33 visitors. So within every 3 days, you'll have 100 visitors. So if you do this and you have this budget set up and you have that 1% conversion rate, which by the way, that's very low. We aim for 2.5%. I'm just using this as an example because it's easy to round and I'm not good with math. But if you had a 1% conversion rate and you were spending $33 a day, then you could expect one sale per 3 days. Now, what's good about that is you can actually get data fast, right? You're not rushing it in the sense where you're spending $100 per day, which I get a lot of people aren't comfortable with. So I think it's best when you're brand new, when you're first starting out, when you're launching your store. And this is, again, assuming that you've been through my dropship blueprint at Dropship Lifestyle. This is assuming you have quality suppliers in place. This is assuming your website is optimized to convert. This is assuming, again, you followed the entire system that I put together. But if you did and you have $1,000 to budget, then that's how I would recommend you budget it, right? Don't say I'm going to spend $5 a day for the next year or whatever it is. Say I'm going to spend $33 a day for the next month and I'm going to monitor what happens on my site. Because again, what you're doing with this initial money is watching what's happening. So it's very easy inside of Google AdWords to actually see what you're getting in terms of impressions on your website, meaning how many people are actually seeing your different ads for different products. It's easy to see how many people are clicking the links to go to the different product pages on your site. And it's easy to see what percentage of search volume share you have. And what that means is you may find that you're spending this money and a few products are selling over and over and over again, but there's more traffic to be had because maybe you bid too low. So again, the whole purpose of doing this, yes, we want to make sales, but it's really to get those numbers. And again, to get our market research and to basically buy data so that we can then basically cut our ads that aren't working. So as this money's being spent and we see a bunch of our products maybe are getting clicks with no sales, then we know, okay, let's go to those product pages and optimize them to get our conversion rate up. Or if we see some of our products are getting clicks and getting a bunch of sales, then we could see, well, what's our search impression share, right? Is there extra traffic that we could just bid more and get? And if there is, then guess what? Raise your budget, get more traffic, see how your conversion rate holds up, and make sure your ads are still profitable. Now, that's, again, what I'd recommend for your first month. And that's kind of my answer to minimum. Again, there is none. But if you're planning on spending $5 a day, like I just showed you in this example here, and your store is converting at 1%, which it very well may be if it's the first time you've built one and you just launched it, then again, expect about 20 days to see what's working and what's not. And I know a lot of people don't want to wait that long. So if you want to wait, 3 days instead of 20 days, then basically stick with this budget. That's a great way to start. Again, you could bid lower, you could wait longer, up to you how you want to proceed with that, okay? Now, the next question that I get regarding setting budgets is what's the maximum? Okay, so this is kind of the minimum. Now let's talk about the maximum. Do maximum budget. And you could probably guess what I'm going to say here, but again, there is none, and your maximum budget should be unlimited. And this probably sounds crazy to a lot of people that are brand new and that maybe are some of the people thinking, oh, I thought I was going to spend $5 a day. Well, listen, here's the thing. Let's say I convince you to spend your 33 a day and you're spending it and your store is converting and go up here again. Where is it? Your return on ad spend, right? Your return on ad spend is really good. Let's say for every $100 you spend in ads, you're getting $1,000 in sales, okay? And that's not bad. If you could do that, right? If you could spend $100 and that earned you $1,000 in sales and your profit was, 30%, and take out ad after that, let's say you're making $200 per every time this happens, meaning you're spending $100 to get $200 net profit back out, then how often would you do that, right? How often would you give someone $1 to get $2 in profit back out? And the answer is as many times as you could, okay? So let me write that out if I said that too fast and if you're new and that doesn't make sense yet. But let's say you got $1,000, right? Oh, make this bigger. Let's say you got the $1,000, let's just say it's one item you sold for $1,000, right? And that $1,000 item, your expenses like shipping and cost of goods sold, everything else was, let's say $700. So in this scenario, you'd be left with $300, which would normally be your net profit. But again, let's say that $100 is what you spent to get that sale, okay? So you spent $100 and you're left with $200 net profit. That means that you spent, again, $100 and it made you $2. So you basically gave someone $1, they gave you back $2. And in this case, you just did that 100 times. Now, how many times would you do that if there was no maximum? And if you could sit there and you could do it all day and just give someone $1 and they gave you $2 and you gave them $1 and they gave you $2, you would do it unlimited amount of times, as much as possible. So that's why with maximums, again, there are none. But with that being said, this isn't something that you're just going to start with and say, okay, I'm going to spend $1,000 a day or even $100 a day. Again, this is where I'd want to see you start, the 33 a day. And then as you see results, right? Once you know your return on ad spend, once you see what's actually working inside your AdWords account and in the dashboard, that's when you start spending more, okay? And you start spending more on the products that are converting, whichever the ones are that you see are actually bringing these sales in, right? Again, very easy to track inside of your AdWords interface. But let's just say at first when you started and you had this budget, and I'll bring this down here, all the way down here. Let's say you started and you were bidding $20, 20 cents, I should say, per click. Okay, if that was your original bid and it was making you money, but your account was maxing out at that $33 a day, but you were getting, let's just say a 20 to 1 even return on ad spend, which is possible with small targeted campaigns. But let's say you were getting that and you were spending 20 cents a click. Well, maybe next month, instead of just spending $1,000, you want to go ahead and you want to say, okay, you know what? I'm going to go up to $1,500 this month in ad spend, and I'm going to up my bids to 30 cents cost per click. Okay. Again, you're not just going to double it. You're not going to go crazy and think this worked at 1,000. Let me spend 10,000, but you're going to go up a little bit. And then what are you going to do? You're going to go into your AdWords account. You're going to go to your Google shopping campaign report. You're going to see where you're getting clicks, where you're not. You're going to see what people are buying, what they're not, and the things that they're clicking and not buying, you're going to optimize on your site to get people to choose them and buy once they get there. And the things that they are buying, you're going to make sure that as you're spending more money, it's leading to you getting more clicks and more sales. And as long as that falls in to whatever your, go back to the top, target return on ad spend is, as long as it falls in there, then guess what? You're going to keep going up. You know, depending on the size of your AdWords account, sometimes, you know, you want to do this every 2 weeks. Sometimes you'll want to do it every month. If your account gets really big and you get to the point where you're spending, you know, I know the people that are at this level right now probably aren't watching this video, but when you get to the point where you're spending, you know, $100,000 plus a month on ads, then you'll want to monitor that every single day. So that's what we do. We're literally in our Google account and our Facebook ads account every single day watching what's happening, because we need to make sure that our return on ad spend is where we want it to be. But again, if you're brand new, right, you're just wondering like, what's the minimum budget, Anton? How should I budget everything? Listen, if you can afford it, you know, assuming you're going to lose it all, because I'm not going to tell you you're going to get rich quick or anything, but assuming you did everything else right, you followed the dropship blueprint, you're ready to, you know, invest into this and make it real. This is what you should do. You know, if you're comfortable with it, set aside $1,000, put it into your next month's budget, break that up as $33 a day, look at your data, see what's working, cut what's not, and then kind of double down on what is. And once you do that, you can get to the point where next month you can go ahead and just basically raise your bids, raise your budget, and keep increasing your revenue. Because at the end of the day, that's what's going to bring your revenue up, right? The more search share you can get, the more impressions, the more clicks, that's the more sales you can get. And this is how businesses really grow from 100,000 a month to 300,000 a month to 500,000 a month. It's by getting really good at ads. Now, this video, just so everyone knows, was meant to be pretty much an overview for beginners that were curious, you know, kind of what we do with new stores and how you can kind of just get a start. But if you're watching this right now and you are part of Dropship Lifestyle, I definitely want to let you know I'm recording this right now on Thursday, July 19th. By the end of next week, we're going to have the brand new Google Ads for e-commerce course put into Dropship Lifestyle. Literally, we just rebuilt it from the ground up with Michael from Search Scientists. It's amazing. Like, I've been watching some of the new content because I have most of the videos already. And yeah, it's going to be a deep dive into all this, of course, with screen shares into the Google ad accounts, showing you how we set up actual live accounts. So pretty cool. Check that out in the Dropship Blueprint. If you're a member, it'll be there next week. If you're not and you have any questions, go to dropshiplifestyle.com. That's where you can get all of our best resources and whatnot. And, you know, feel free to leave a comment below this video. I'll check them out for the next day or so. And with that being said, yeah, I hope everyone has a great weekend and a great week. And I will talk to you guys all in the next episode of Dropship Weekly. See ya.